everyone, Christina here, your tech director. Hey, today I want to give you some quick tips on how to use Docusign that will help you write contracts so much faster. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you and we will get started. The first thing to do is to go to account.docusign.com to log into Docusign directly. Let's go ahead and use your username and password to log in. Once you're in Docusign, as always, we're going to go up to our initials at the top right and change it to switch to rooms. So I'm going to do a few different examples for y'all. As always, we start our opportunity by going through command first when you are doing a transaction, and that way it will link to command and it will create the room it will create the room automatically by syncing it with command. So that is how your room gets created. You can tell that has been done, excuse me, when you are looking at your rooms. If it has Katie Garcia down here, that means that you started that opportunity in command first and synced it to command. If it has your name at the bottom, that means you created the room all on your own in Docusign and it's not synced to command. Okay, so as you'll see, some of these I've done on their own and then some of them I do through command. Most of the time, the ones that I'm doing on my own are just really quick, and a lot of times I'm just doing it for test examples. So most of the time I always start it in command. I'm going to go ahead and open up this room as an example. You will see in the details section, always make sure that you fill in by clicking this edit button at the top, the name of the sellers or the buyers, etc. here with their name and their email address. So I've got here their name, Mickey Mouse. I have the email address for Mickey Mouse, and then I have the mailing address or property address right here as well. And then I'm also going to have Minnie Mouse, same thing with the email address. And then we've got listing agent 1, that's my information as the listing agent, etc. Okay. And then you can also add the address for the property in here, right here under location. So once you do all that, click save. Anything that you fill in on this details section is going to auto-populate to your contracts. All right, now let's go to documents. The first thing that's really awesome that I want to teach you for all my OCD people, people who like to be organized and don't like chaos, this is a great tip for you. I love to create folders in my Docusign rooms. So how you do that is up here, you'll see actions, add folder. You can then add a folder name here. My brain is just not catching up with me today. So let's just say I want to add listing docs, a folder just for my listing docs. So now I have a folder for executed docs, listing docs, and the room docs. So how this works is anytime that you upload a document to your room in here, let's say I go to add from Docusign forms and I go to text association. Let's just say we need to add this. You're going to notice that it goes right to room docs automatically. Even if I just dragged and dropped a document to this room, it always goes to the room docs folder first. So what I recommend is start your documents in here that you need to fill out. Once they're signed, that's when I would drag them and drop them in the right folder. So for example, this document is signed, and you can tell because you can see this green check mark at the bottom right. I can either click on it and you'll see this little menu pop up here where I can click move, select destination to a folder inside of the current room. And the folder I want to move it to is listing docs, move. So you'll see that has moved it to the listing docs folder right here. Or we can drag and drop. So let's say we want to drag this one. we can move it up and you'll see you're able to drop it to either room. I'm just going to put it here. So that's how you can move your documents. You can do multiple documents at the same time as well. So let's say I needed to move this and this one. I can just click both of them and then move, same thing, and move both of them at the same time. Okay, so let's go through adding a PDF. And another trick is adding multiple signatures besides just the 2 signatures that we already put for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. So this is a offer, okay? Let's say we have this offer and we want to upload this and have our sellers accept the offer. So what I'm going to do is I just downloaded it from my email and now I'm going to drag it and drop it, which it, like I said, it goes to the Room Docs folder to send it for signatures to our sellers. We're going to check mark it and then do the pen, create envelope. And that is going to open up the envelope so we can send it to the sellers that need to sign to accept this offer. In this example, I'm going to show you how you can accomplish this even if you have more than just 2 sellers. Remember, in the details section, you can only add 2 buyers or 2 sellers, but let's say you have 4. All right. So how we would do that, I always rename my envelope here. Let's just say offer. Shows you your documents here. And now I'm going to click on, actually, I'm going to remove these. Okay. Now I'm going to click add recipient from room participants. Remember, the only time you will see for pre-tagged roles is if you started the document in Docusign. Remember, you go to add document from Docusign forms, and then you pull from the Texas Association Realtors library. We added this document as a PDF. That's why we don't have pre-tagged roles. So the only option we have is room participants or email address. If you're sending it to people that are already in the room detail section, we're going to click room participants. And that's going to pull up all the people that you have connected to this room. So I've got Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. And I'm going to add. So that auto populates their email and all that because that was in the details section. But now let's say we also have Donald Duck and Daffy Duck that need to sign as the sellers as well to accept this offer. What I'm going to do is go to add recipient email address. And I'm going to write Donald Duck. And I can't spell or type. And put my, and then I'm going to do it again. Email address. Yeah. Okay. They're all set to sign, which is perfect. And now we have all 4 of them. Keep in mind, you can always change the order of how they're signed by moving them up and down here. Or you can even say, I want Mickey to sign first, then I want Minnie to sign, etc. So you can do that as well. But I'm just going to keep them all to sign at the same time. So now we are going to go down here, fill in whatever your message is going to say. Now we're going to click next at the top right. And on this screen is where you will see where we're going to drag and drop our signatures. Since it wasn't pre-tagged roles, Docusign does not know where on this document anyone needs to sign because it's a PDF. So we have to manually click and drag our signatures. So for Mickey Mouse is purple, Daffy's yellow, etc. You'll see all those here. So let's say we start with Daffy. We're going to drag initial over and drop it here. And you can resize it. So let's say we want to make it real small because we have 4 sellers that we need to put on these lines. A cool little trick is when you have sized it the way you want it and it's placed where you want it. If you click on it and then copy by doing Control C or Command C on a Mac, and then you scroll down to the next page, just make sure you're not showing the third page. See how you can see the third? As long as it's only showing the second page and you click Control V or Command V to paste, it will paste the same size and the correct spot for you automatically. So you can go through this whole thing and paste it for each person. Okay. And so basically you're going to do that for each person. You're going to click here. Now I'm going to go to Donald, do the same thing. I'm going to drag it down here. And then I can Command C or Control C and oops, I accidentally did it on the third one. Let me scroll. Goodness gracious. Okay, so we do that for each person. Also at the very bottom where they sign, you can bring the signature over, resize it, and then do each person's signature. And something else I just noticed is once I resize one, it looks like it resizes all 4 of them, which that's pretty cool. I never noticed that till just now, actually. Okay. And then you can keep going from there. So let's just pretend, now obviously I would need to put some here too. So, and then you could even put your date sign next to the proper one as well. So I would do that for each one. Okay, so that's how you can do multiple signatures, even more than just the 2 that's in your room, and also how you can copy and paste in here. Okay. All right, now I'm going to get out of this and show you another example. Let's say you already had a document that was signed and you needed to add another change to that document or add another signature or whatever the case may be. What you can do is click on the document. Let's just say this one. And you'll see as I open it, it already has a signature and a date, correct? Let's say that we forgot to check mark these boxes, which we did. We didn't check mark anything. So what we can do is click this little box and go over here to the pen. And I would change this to minerals. It shows you your document here. Add recipient, room participants. Let's just say we're sending this one to Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. And write our message. Now I'm going to click next. Okay, so now that we're in here, we already have our signature here, but we forgot these boxes. So let's just say that we add the checkbox. Okay, and then we want to add our initials. I'm going to resize it next to the changes. Okay, then we can send it. And now you'll see I have as Mickey and Minnie Mouse review document, I can go in here and sign those changes and the signature is still down here. And then finish. And now when I go back in here to the document section and you go all the way down to the room docs, because remember everything auto defaults to the room docs. I'm looking for the minerals that was on 7/6 with a green check mark. You see the date is right here. So that's this one right here, addendum for reservation. So when I click on it, now you will see those initials and those changes have been made and that signature is still there. And then once you are finished with that, you can download it from this screen directly, clicking this document actions button, download, to download it right to your computer. Or when you are in this screen, you can check mark it and click the little download button up here and download it right to your computer. So those are some quick tips on little tricks helping you get through your documents quicker. A huge tip to make sure you understand in Docusign, anytime it's a blue form, which is anytime it looks like this blue form, that is a document that you started in Docusign. That means you went up here to add from Docusign forms and then Texas Association Realtors, and you grabbed one of these. See how there's already in use here? It's not going to let you add another one because there's already a blue form in use in that room. The reason it does that is because anytime you have a document in here, let's say you just went through and you did your offer. Let me find an offer in here. Or I'm sorry, let me write 1 to 4. Okay, so I have the 1 to 4. Let's say that I messed up on a box. I didn't check a box or something. I can just reopen that blue form version of the document, even if my clients have already signed it, okay? Because the signatures won't show on the blue version. They only show on the green checkmark version. So I can go in here, check my box that I forgot to check, save it. And then I will now send that blue form through an envelope to send it to be signed. So this is the one I just corrected. I can check mark it and send it in an envelope. And now the clients can sign that. Okay. And you will have 2 versions of that 1 to 4 family, one that was signed the other way, and then the new one that was just signed with the corrected box. Corrected box. So let's just test this, and always do pre-tagged roles when you're using a blue form because it knows exactly where each person needs to sign, okay? So let's just say buyer 1 is Mickey Mouse. Now I'm gonna send next, I'm sorry, click next. My brain is really not just doing a good job with me today, y'all, I'm sorry. So now you'll see as we scroll down that residential lease box is checked. And because we did pre-tagged roles, which I love it, it automatically puts the initials on every page because this document started in Docusign and Docusign knows this document and knows where everybody needs to sign. So you don't have to drag any boxes. It's all done. So you would send it and then Mickey Mouse gets the email that they need to sign, which I just got it. I'm going to review. And I'm going to continue. This is me signing it as the client, Mickey Mouse. Also, quick note, if you were sending this on behalf of, let's say you had a trust, maybe the seller is a trust and you put seller's name as a trust on the contract. When it comes to the signatures, maybe they need to do their own signature, their actual names. How you would do that is when you get to this screen, you would click Adopt New, and they can type their actual name here and change what signature they're going to use. So I'm going to adopt Mickey Mouse. So now Mickey Mouse can click all these and sign. And finish. Okay, so now when I'm in here, I can see this is the version that was just signed by Mickey Mouse. And that checkbox residential lease has been done. And you'll also see there is still the blue version that's not signed. That's the one that you can always edit. See? So blue versions are editable. Green versions are the signed versions. So other examples is those blue versions you would need to use for, like I said, any mistake you made when you were filling out the contract, you need to add a box or take off a check mark, etc. Or let's say you need to do another amendment. Okay, so we do lots of amendments during a transaction, but if I had an amendment in here, let me show you. They do have it in there multiple times now because I think it was confusing people, but they're all the same document. So let's just say we had filled in this amendment and then we wanted to make changes after it had already been signed. Once again, you just open that amendment and whatever it had previously, maybe it had the price had been changed. Maybe you had this section filled in. And then this time you need it to be, let me put this here. So maybe this is what was signed the first time. And now this time you need to add repairs. You can just uncheck this, delete these. And this time you can add your repairs. Etc. And then you can save it and then send that through an envelope. Okay. Let's see. So we did our different tricks in there. We did our folders. The reason I always name my envelopes is because when you've done a lot of envelopes, you'll be able to see which one you sent. If all of them said, please Docusign, that's going to be really hard for you to know which one you're still waiting on signatures. So for these, for example, these are drafts. Maybe I was almost ready to send it, but I hadn't sent it yet because I was waiting on one more piece of information I need to add to the document. I could save it as a draft. Well, then I'm not going to know which draft it is if I didn't name it what that document was for this please Docusign. So I always recommend change it to correction or offer or minerals, whatever the document is, or corrective box, something like that. So that way, when you need to go in here and say, all right, who has signed this, who has viewed this, you can easily go in here and you can see, okay, Mickey Mouse has viewed it or signed it, and it shows you the day and time. And if they haven't viewed it, then it's not going to have this green check mark and it won't show signed. So those are some other little additional tips. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a pretty good overview. If you ever have any questions, let me know. Definitely check out more videos on my YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you ever have an idea on a class you'd like me to teach, just let me know. Have a great day. Bye.